Welcome to One Bounce Swish podcast. I'm Steve Dayton, and co-host today is my wife, Virginia. We're here with the Yoders, and we're going to formally introduce them shortly. Chris is away today. Just want to welcome everybody back here and to our season 2. Can we call it that? Not year 2, but season 2. Season 2 is a great thing. What a great lineup of guests we have. First of all, we're going to start off with these great folks, introduce here in a minute. Also thank our sponsors, Dominoes Pizza over on East National Highway. They're our friends. We always enjoy Dominoes Pizza. Also Media Pros Production out of Louisville, Kentucky. Our son-in-law and daughter have a great business going there. Putters Bay Miniature Golf. And now Dig at the Bay, and also RC Raceway and Crawler Track. We are indoors right now, but this spring we're building an outdoor raceway and crawler track. Got a couple teasers here on the front of the table that people can kind of pay attention to. Also, want to just give a shout out to Classic Custom Carts here in Washington. Got some good friends that are doing that. It's over on Highway 57 in the railroad tracks. You know, golf carts used to be fun to ride, and you didn't do it all the time. But it's become a lifestyle. It really has, golf carts. I mean, they're street legal now, and you can trick them out and get all kinds of options and wheels and tires and sound boxes and computers on board and everything like that. Also, want to shout out, to the football Hoosiers at Indiana University. Wow, 15-0. Never been done in the school history. That's their stadium right there in the middle. So we're commemorating their success this year. Won the Rose Bowl, then they turned around and won the Peach Bowl, and now they're going to play for the national championship. Wow. Anyway, got a couple dad jokes. Are you guys okay before you get started if I do a couple dad jokes?
Sure.
Since we're a couple, 2 couples here today, what happened when 2 slices of bread went on a date? It was loaf at first sight. Also, why do crabs never volunteer? Anybody can take a guess at that? They're shellfish.
They're shellfish.
Shellfish.
Yeah.
That's true. Riddles, actually.
Why did the electric car feel discriminated against? The rules weren't current. Come on.
Okay.
Come on. We need like a laugh
I
sign,
had-
like an applause or something
Yep.
like they have in the studio.
I figured it was something to do with the fuel.
Fuel. Oh, that's what I was thinking.
We needed something done
Yep.
the other day, and we gave a handyman a list. But he only did 1, 3, and 5. Found out he only did odd jobs.
This is
I've heard that one.
odd job handyman.
Heard that one?
I didn't catch it until there.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
Very good.
Aaron and Mada Yoder, welcome.
Thank you.
Wow, we're excited
Yes.
that you're here today. And we're just, like we've said throughout every episode, everybody has a story. They really do. Everybody. Everybody has a story. And so that's how this started. We were down here talking, and our daughter, who's usually our production assistant, said, you guys just need to start a podcast. And that's how we did it. We just started. We started acquiring some equipment, and our daughter and son-in-law in Louisville were able to help us get set up with some equipment and some things that they were using but allowed us to acquire, and that's kind of how we started. Chris, who's usually here, and now our son Luke, who's going to be a co-host, and Virginia, It just kind of depends on the mix of people as far as, you know, who co-hosts or who's available or whatever. So that's kind of where we're at. We want to welcome you and just share from your heart. If something you feel led to say or how you want to start, I mean, maybe tell us. You don't have to say, hi, I'm Aaron Yoder. We just introduced you, so you don't have to stand up or anything. You can stay seated and relax in your chair. But tell us what's going on, who you are, where you're from, maybe a little bit of background, and then what the Lord's showing you.
Well, I would say for me and for our family, my background would have, I grew up in Ohio, west central Ohio, moving to Indiana in late teens, early 20s. So, and that's where we met, and that's where our life together, our journey together basically started.
It's funny how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's been quite a journey for our life, and which I have ever since we've moved to Indiana until now, minus a couple of years. I've worked for the same company, and now I am a co-owner of Freedom Valley Cabinets. So, and I enjoy doing that type of work. And
So, carpentry, cabinets.
trim carpentry, custom cabinetry, primarily. Design, sales, and install. So that's the main focus. When I first started with cabinetry, I didn't know what I was doing. I learned, and now I'm never dreamed I would be one of the owners. So, but feel very blessed with that.
Well, we never know till we get involved and what's going to happen or how
Yeah.
we're going to do it. Or
Yeah,
that was a leap of faith, wasn't it?
it was. Yeah.
Didn't even realize it at the time. Maybe, I don't know.
No. So yeah, I would say that's where a lot of our, our journey started together at that time, early 20s.
Where were you when you met? I'm asking my wife's
As
part of
far
the
as-
story now. She's going to write a book someday on how people met, but like, were you at an event, function,
Actually,
group of people?
Yeah, we moved into the community, and so, and we were in the same youth group at that point. Very, very small youth group.
And we would have known each other in Ohio, like of each other. We didn't know each other
Yeah.
well, but we would have known of each other while you lived in Ohio
Yeah.
before you moved. But yeah, just in the youth
So.
group there. Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite different moving out here because I came from a youth group of over 100 and to a youth group of
Probably 20.
maybe barely 20, a dozen youth. So
So siblings. What about your personal life, your immediate family?
yeah, I'm one of nine.
One of nine.
One of nine. So 6 boys and 3 girls. So yeah, we had our fair share of doing all of the housework stuff, and
Good. That's important.
the girls were towards the latter part of the family. So there was.
So where are you in the birth order?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm the oldest. There were 4 of us. Then the first girl, my first sister, and us boys were very excited. But then there were 2 girls. Let me think. Yeah, 2 girls, 2 boys, and then another girl.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was our growing up years, and yeah, we didn't have I wouldn't say an ideal growing up, but it was a journey of life that we went through, and I look back, and there's a lot of things that we reminisce, and just lately we reminisced as a family, and talked about a lot of things, and I enjoy doing that because there's a lot of things that I've forgotten, and yeah, it's
We did that over the Christmas holiday too, with particularly the kids. The grandkids got together. Oh, do you remember the time we did this? And some of it was new to us as parents. Some of it wasn't.
yeah.
Some of it they didn't think we knew, but we did.
But you know, yeah.
There's-
Yeah.
yeah, just a great time. We really had a great time
Yeah.
doing that. So
Yeah.
that's so important. It really is to see life from then and now, and oh, you remember the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So is your family still around here in Indiana, or are they?
They are spread from the West Coast to Indiana, and south. Tennessee,
Wow.
Tennessee to Idaho,
And with
Indiana.
nine
Yeah.
people that can go.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. That way you have good places to go visit.
Yeah. And it
There you
sound-
go.
And it sounds like this it's spreading to Arkansas, so
Arkansas is more.
Yeah.
Well, neat.
so
Virginia never said we went on vacation. She said, "I'm just going to a strange place with 6 kids."
So it felt much harder.
No.
It was hard.
Oh.
Like, you didn't know what what the
I know,
boundaries were. And what was,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not a vacation.
We even had coconuts thrown off the top of the hotel, didn't we,
Oh,
one time?
Wow.
Children.
Anyway,
Anyways, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Marietta, we'll go right into you. We'll bypass the coconut
Like I
stories.
said, it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I am very honored and excited to be here with you guys. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
It is very exciting to me, and I have a vision of just and a passion for people to know that there's hope in life. You know, just because of my journey and what I've gone through, that's kind of my thing. So, from that perspective, I love sharing my story and giving that hope, and so that people just to spread it out, just people know that, you know, you can go through hard things and thrive, and don't have to just survive. And
Exactly.
so that's kind of that's my heart. And but I grew up in a family. There's 11 of us in my family, and I had one brother that passed away when he was 7. I was 17 years old, so there's only 10 living at this time. But we grew up in an Amish family, born and raised Amish. We actually got married. We were still Amish when we got married. And so I had a very, 10 siblings growing up. We had a very active, high-functioning family, and a lot of good times. But I was a very insecure child growing up. So out of that is where a lot of my, journeys of insecurities and what is hope and my passion in life to keep looking for something that gives hope kind of started, And so yeah, but we had, I was the oldest girl, the second of the children. I had one brother that's older. So I grew up with a lot of responsibilities. I carried a lot at a young age. And when I was 17, my brother that passed away, he had a brain tumor. And so through all of that, I pretty much took care of my siblings. And so I learned responsibility and carried a lot of responsibility growing up. And we had a farm. We lived on a farm. We farmed, so I farmed with horses. Drove 6 large, big horses, those big work horses. That was my love being outdoors. And I just, mowing hay, we were baling hay, and we would, anything you do in the farm, I could do anything with those horses. And my dad also had a pallet shop, so I worked in the pallet shop. Run a nailer, I could pretty much do what my brother did. I worked hard on it, I kept up with it, we loved the competition between the two of us. And so it was a very fun time. I loved being on the farm, and just our family. There was a lot going on that way. So in that aspect, I love how I grew up. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of emotional issues that I dealt with, and and because of our lifestyle and culture, there was a lot of cultural things that got thrown into that and created a lot of confusion for me. And, but if I think about my growing up, like I still cherish that part of it. The things that I learned, the hands-on, it really taught me a lot. And we worked hard and we had a lot of fun times despite the hard times we went through, but yeah, so it's just, I was, as I said, it was very, I now understand better, like, why I was insecure when I was a kid and just a lot of emotional stuff going on. At the time, I had no idea. I was just a lot of confusion, and by the time I was 12 years old, I was suicidal and very depressed and just dealing with suicide. Of course, nobody knew. I was young. Nobody knew that part of it. And it scared me because, what do I do? And I didn't know how to deal with that. And, but that stayed with me for many, many, many years. And so because of all that, I knew there was more to life. And I did make a good commitment, and I knew I wanted to serve God, but there was so much fear attached to it. Like I served God out of a fear versus out of a love, So that kind of wrapped into that too. And so I was like, and that was really, and then my brother got sick and passed away and went through all of that. And it was just a lot of confusion. I dealt with a lot of confusion. And did throughout the years, we met then when we got married when I was 22.
Right.
I think we started dating. I was 21 when we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, I had kind of come to the place of this is just how life is. And you kind of, and I had gone through some counseling, gotten some emotional help, but I still didn't, I just knew that I have to do the right things. And I need to get through life somehow, And by that time, this is how it is. I just accepted it. This is how, you just a struggle in life. And I did fairly well, because with that, the right things to say and do. It's kind of how I got through life. You kind of, know. And so, but deep down, there was just this, I was like, there's got to be more. There's just deeper. And I was always a person for deep things. I thought it through. I was questioned everything. You don't normally do that, but I just wanted to know, why do you do it this way? Why?
Why?
Why? That was kind of my thing. And most times I I realized too, you have to be careful, what kind of questions I ask, because I don't, because sometimes there is no answers, but that's just me why do we do this? Or why is it this way? Why that? And I've had that drive in me, and I fought for it, And
Because Marietta,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because,
just because.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit my childhood up to kind of what, it's just, it was a rocky.
Yeah, wow. It's pretty good so far.
You want me to keep going, huh?
Sure, if you want to. Aaron,
Yeah.
at any time, feel welcome to interject or, what you saw, or I remember the time, or,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, the thing that really stands out to me is she does not settle for, it's just the way we do, that's just how it is. That's one thing that really stands out to me, is rising above, finding an answer, not just any answer, but why do we do what we do?
Yeah.
and it brings life. That's the drive behind it, is seeking for life.
Yeah.
And that's what I see her driving for, is life, not just wallowing in, I don't know why, I don't know where.
Wallowing in the unknown.
Right.
Survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I just
She survived for many, many years with no answers.
Yeah.
And people just saying, you just have to believe it just the way it is. And no reason. And it drives her crazy if she doesn't understand
Aaron,
the purpose of life and why we do what we do.
we have some
Yeah.
common ground. My wife's the same way. That's what motivates her. It is. But I mean that respectfully, because it's like, why?
Yeah.
Where?
You know, no, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I can relate. I don't know how you feel, but I understand a
Yeah.
little bit about
Yeah.
what you're.
It challenges.
Yeah.
It's very challenging.
Yeah.
And it's got its unique twists in life that I'm trying to grasp, but I'm learning.
But it's
to,
beautiful, isn't it?
I can, yes, I can. I'm trying to grab a hold of it
Yeah.
and seeing, because I see her. I see her finding life in this, and it's, yeah,
Well,
it's good.
The gospel, it's not about the end game, as you would think, so to speak. I don't know how else to put it, but we miss out on what it says is the goodness of God in the land of the living. You know, it's a very present reality. The gospel is all about living life, not existing and waiting.
To someday have this perfect.
You know, I'm going to make it someday, or one day this is going to work. No, it's a very, Jesus is real time. If you want to talk about real time, Jesus has to be included in that phrase or that.
Because salvation is
Yeah,
today is the day.
yeah.
It's not someday.
And it's not just a born again thing and now I'm in and kick back and wait till whatever, but because we think linear and we're not to think there's a beginning and an end type thing. It's living life abundantly, not just existing. There's a difference between existing and living.
Yeah.
There really is.
Yeah.
Well, because he
And-
is
Yeah.
the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning and the end. So there's not. It's not a time thing at all. He is all of that. He's like we were talking about today. He's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we better not talk too much.
Yeah,
I wanna
go
hear the
ahead.
rest of your story.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Well, if I think so now, like talking about living and surviving, like or thriving, and that's a thing that now, if I look back over my life, there's so much just, you can survive anything, you can survive things, and you can do hard things, and I did, but there's a difference in when you start thriving and when you start living life. Then you start thriving, and then your life becomes a whole new game. Like, then it's a game instead of a drudgery. Like, and I would say when I got to the final, after, I mean, we did counseling together as a couple then, and I did a lot of personal, just to try to get through that emotional pain that I was carrying and stress, but there's so much, just believe and trust God and have faith, and I agree with that, but it wasn't getting to the heart of the matter of what was going on. And so, and then in all that, and then I was at we had children. Here I had 3 girls, and I'm a mom with 3 girls, and I'm suicidal. Like, it's just a rotten place to be, and just a survival mode. And of course, there's so much that happened in between that gets, that triggers those things. And but for me personally, where I got about 6 years ago when I went to Encounter Ministries, and that's kind of, I always kind of go to that. There was so much up, and at that point, it's kind of when my life turned around, and Jesus became the center of my life. And I was in Encounter Ministries in Missouri, and in April it'll be 6 years that I went. I was desperate for something, and I knew it had to be something that is not completely out there. Like I never experienced, like just a completely different setting. And so I went desperate, and at that event is where they had a spiritual warfare session. And I was like all weekend, I was so desperate. All I wanted was to encounter Jesus. I just wanted to encounter Jesus, and then I'll go home and I'll be fine. Like I didn't want people to see me. I mean, I'm this Mennonite. By that time, we were with a Mennonite group, and so we weren't with. But as this Mennonite kid in an environment that I'd never been around before, and I didn't want anybody to see me. I'm like, just go in there unnoticed, and I'll be like, get my thing and leave. You know, I wanted my Jesus moment, and I'll get out of here.
Grab and go.
Grab and go.
Yeah.
So I was so and I was so scared. I was so guarded. I had so much walls built up by that time, and I didn't make eye contact with people. The servers there, I avoided them. They wanted to pray with me, and I'm like, okay, you can pray, but there was no just leave me alone type of. At the same time, I didn't want to miss anything. I was like, what if I push God away? At that fear too. Like I wanted God. I wanted to encounter Jesus, and so it was a war zone that weekend. And so in the spiritual warfare session, it just blew apart for me, and I fell apart. And I realized that this is a spiritual attack, and this is whatever. And so, and then we were out. There was people praying with me, and they're like, can we get? Is it okay if we bring Jeff in? What Jeff is the leader of the group there, and I'm like, I don't know, but the dude better be really careful. Like I'm not gonna, And I never met these people, and here I was just like in a not a good spot, and I thought to myself, I said, if this guy says anything about repenting and having faith and believing, he's going to wish he wouldn't have said a word. That's what went through my mind. I'm like, you better be really careful.
Yeah.
And
that's real.
It was just a very, that is just, and that's the thing that kept me so, I have to do all these things to get through this, and it was, and I was like, okay, if he says those words, he's gonna wish he wouldn't have. So and he's a tall guy, I never met him before. Comes in there, and he kneels down in front of me, and laid his hand on my knee, looks me straight in the eyes, and he says, listen, I want you to know that we love you, and we care about you, and we're here to help you. And I'm like, I was frozen. I was like, oh my word. And it just kind of knocked the walls down for me. I'm like, okay, the very thing that I was guarding against, he went the complete opposite way. And so through that, we just started talking, and he started asking questions, and he's like, are you saved? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't know. I don't, I've that fear. How do I know if I'm saved or not? And so he went through all that and explained it and prayed over me. They anointed me, and just I went through to receive Jesus and just ask Jesus into my heart. And all of a sudden, just all my suicide, my depression, everything just lifted as I spoke out. And I was like when it took me a while, it was hard. It was an intense battle for me to be able to speak the words Jesus, because the enemy there was this war in my mind. Like I could feel the fight. Felt like I was being torn in two pieces. Like God and the enemy were like it was just the two spirits were just, and then they just kept staying there and present, and they were just leading me through it, and to where I was like, Jesus, this is really what I want. I want Jesus to be the center of my life. And
there's just so much power in that name. I mean, even in the church, you don't hear the word Jesus in it. You hear God, you hear in your name we pray, you know. There's nothing wrong with saying Jesus
Mm-hmm.
because there's power in that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There really is. It carries an incredible presence,
Yeah.
and that's even an insult to the
Mm-hmm.
name Jesus, the word incredible, but
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, it is. It's what
But
lifts it.
Yeah, it's yeah. Anyway,
Keep going.
So yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
It was just so, and if you get the picture, like I come from I grew up Amish, so I have this Amish thing wrapped around me. We're now with a Mennonite group. There's not much, pretty much outward things that change. You can drive a vehicle now instead of a car. Like, so it wasn't, but that's where I was coming from, and here I was surrounded in this nun, Anabaptist type background, and I am blown away, completely blown away, because I have been taught so much of how you live and how you got to do stuff, and that's the way to do the right things, and that's the way to, say, and then now all of a sudden I'm hearing life, and life is being spoken over me in a way that I was just, I just didn't know what to do with it. It was so profound. And so here I am, and I experienced this freedom. I immediately felt it, like when those words came out, it was just like the spirit of heaviness lifted from me, and the oppression and depression and the suicide was gone. Like it was gone. And I'm like, wow. And my first words after, I'm like, and I'm saved? Like that was my first thing. I'm like, I'm saved. Like, and he's like, absolutely. And
praise
so
God.
that was that moment. That's just the time when Jesus became the center of my life, to where I
Yeah.
say that's really, it's not that I would want to serve God up to that point. It's like I went through the motions of things, the words, but at that point is when Jesus became center of my life, and to where my pursuit with God really got intense and focused. And this is who it got real for me.
Yeah.
And so we just talked a little bit there, and then I was like, just soon after that, almost like it felt like it was audible. I just heard this voice that you need to be baptized.
How's this going to go over, huh?
This guy was so, I was, but I knew it was so clear to me. I knew that's what it's going to be, and I was okay with it. I'm like, well, of course. So, but then that night, all of a sudden I start thinking, I knew that was God speaking, but then I start thinking. And that night I went through a serious wrestle with it. What do I do? This is going to be the end, and I'm going to be ready. If I do this, I have a price to pay. I knew I did. And it was just, do I let fear of man, or do I let God win here? And the next morning, I went to bed, and I was like, okay, God, if you, forget exactly how I said it, but it's like, just show me in the morning, like clearly, if there's anything that you don't want me to do, it just show me that, And I woke up the next morning, and it was just, the first thing came to mind was baptism. It was just clear. It was just there, and I'm like, oh my word, okay, like God really wants me to do this thing. And so then I just had to get over the hump of making it known, filling out my paper that I want to be baptized. And it took me a couple hours. So I was like, And I knew the only reason not to was fear of man. It was fear. Yeah. And what I had experienced, I was not willing to jeopardize that. I'm like, if I go home without getting baptized, then I know I'm going to lose what I have. I'm going to give up. I'm not even going to keep trying. So I did. But after I made it known to the team, all my fear was gone. And I just, it was that step, and the enemy was defeated again. And I got baptized, and it was just, it was the most profound experience, and of just setting the mark.
Yeah.
And I go back to that so many times, to just be like, this is where you're on. Like it's such a line in the sand for me. And it was the first time that I made a decision in that line, spiritual, for myself, on my own, without, spirit-led decision.
Without influence.
Without influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very first time.
Yeah.
So
Man,
it was
without human influence.
Right.
without the human.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I really don't have that big a story, but I did it because of fear, man. I remember thinking, I need to go forward now because when I get older, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be too embarrassed.
Yeah.
I might as well do it as a kid.
Gotcha.
I mean, that was my motivation, and I remember that so well. Now, I understood what was going on, that, you know, Jesus died on the cross,
Yeah.
forgiveness of sins, all that, and that, you know, the Lord and Savior part of it, but never really had an encounter until later, much later, years later. But I remember the fear of man being my motivation to do that. I got to do this now. I remember that the Sunday afternoon that the pastor came over to the house and talked to me, which I appreciated. You know, it just wasn't, okay, well, here you go, next Sunday. So, yeah, it's amazing how that fear of man, you know, we were talking about that a little bit this morning, you know, and how that it's just not a one-time thing. It can be situational,
Yeah.
you know, every moment of our life. But it's interesting that you went from the knowledge of the tree of good and evil to the tree of life.
Yeah. Right. Actually. Yeah.
You know, and you know, you stepped away from the judgment, what was right, what was wrong, who cared, you know, type thing, to Jesus,
Yeah.
the moment that you encountered. Yeah. So go on.
It
This
is,
is-
and just on that more too. Like, I had no idea anything like that existed. Of that
Yeah.
type of. Like I had never experienced that before. That type of, yeah, sure. I had gone through baptism before. I had done the things, and I thought I was like, I had the understanding. I was taught a lot, but to be in the moment of choosing God above anything else.
Yeah.
My husband wasn't there. My husband had no idea what was happening, and I knew doing this, if I take this step, like, it's even going to jeopardize our relationship, not just family, church, but. Like, I didn't think he would reject me. Like, I had that. I didn't fear that. But it is still like I'm doing something against anything.
I got to go home and deal with
I
this.
got to go home and
Yeah.
deal with this. I got to go
Yeah.
home and break this news to him.
Yeah.
Like, what do I tell him? I knew.
Yeah.
And at that point, the space where he was at, I was like, oh my word, like, what's going to happen? Because I felt bad for what he was going through, you know. But what happened in that moment, I just remember standing there knowing it's God or man. And if I choose man, this is done. And what the very thing that brings me life, this is God brings me life.
Yeah.
And it was just, I just never forget that feeling
Yeah.
of choosing to stand alone if that's what it takes. If there's no other person, I'm like, this is still what, if I will follow God. And I knew there was going to be people surrounding me, but it would be different people than what I
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
And with that decision, there was like scales fell off my eyes. I literally felt like something fall from my eyes, and I'm like, yes, this is what I've been searching for. It's the whole thing of this thing about rules and tradition and culture and religious things and life and Bible, God, all of a sudden just made sense to me. I'm like, it's about God, like, it's about Jesus, and it just like
Yeah.
it was
Oh, that's
just
awesome.
it was
Wow.
amazing, yeah. But yeah, then I had to go home, and how do I tell my husband this?
Did
know?
you have any idea, Aaron? I mean, boy, when my wife walks back through these doors, it,
No.
no, not at all.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
Partially because of the state that I was in. I was at a very low state at that time. I was done with God. I don't want to go into there. But I remember when she got home. It was not the same wife, and I never had the same wife again.
Well, it's interesting, and I've shared this, and Virginia's took the lead in this in our life as well, and I'll get to that here in a moment. But when Virginia changed,
Mhm.
and I've used this when we've counseled people before too, or talked with people. When her change occurred, it demanded a whole new set of responses from me.
Yes.
Now, I had a choice.
Yeah.
That it could be positive responses or challenging responses. And it does. When transformation takes place, it puts a whole new game plan. I don't want to say rules because you don't know. It's not that. But it is a game changer. It's like an audible.
Yeah.
When a quarterback hollers an audible. You know, he sees the defense and he comes up to the line and he changes the play verbally. That's a game changer. And so you saw that moment where you had to choose God, as we know him universally, to man,
Yeah.
or from man. And one night we were laying in bed, and there's a reason for that. But I turned to her and I said, "How much are you into this stuff like your mother?" And that was my
Wow.
that was my aha moment
Wow.
there. Anyway, but yeah, I understand that
Yeah.
moment too. That was one of many moments. It just wasn't a moment. It was a moment in time, but there have been many other moments as well. So even,
So how did it go then?
yeah.
Well, you mean what to tell him?
To him.
Well, when I got home, I got home like 4:00 in the morning. I drove in the
Yeah.
night. I got home like late Sunday, early Monday morning at 4:00.
You'd have drove across the country, wouldn't you? You were what?
Yeah.
Who can I tell?
I was, and I would have, and I was, like, I walked into my home and it was I felt so different. Like, instead of this depression and oppression, like, I was just like, I looked around and I'm like, for real. Like, it felt like completely different house and whatever. But I was like, how do I do this? Like, do I tell him? Do I, like, show him that? Because I had a video of it, do I just show him the baptism video? What do I do? And so I finally I just told him, I said, honey, I said, you will never believe what happened. It was just, I can't, and I said, and I told him, I said, it's going to, like, totally shock you, and I'll tell you what happened, and I said, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't even, it's okay. I'm just going to tell you what happened, and then you can take all the time you want, think about it, and then you can tell me later, like, what you thought about it, or what you think. And so I just told him what happened and how I got set free and the baptism and everything, and he was just quiet, and he's like, yeah, I need some time.
I think you just simply showed and said, "Here, watch this."
Did I show you the video?
Yes.
Oh,
I think
okay,
you
so I
said
did show
you
the
said
video.
here, look at this, and then if you got questions, you can ask. I'll explain what happened, but you don't have to say anything. I remember that part. You said, you did tell me you don't have to say anything in an effort to just avoid the pressure of what are you going to do? Do you accept or not? It took that away. I remember that.
And I didn't, like, it didn't really matter to me at that point if he accepted it or not. Like, I knew where I stood.
Right.
And, but I didn't want him to feel like he has to do something for me or because of this. Like, now he has to, like, I didn't want him to have that pressure. This is just where I'm at. This is
It
what
was
happened.
your experience.
It was my
Right.
experience. And then, like, the next days, like, I couldn't help it. I couldn't shut up. Like, I kept saying over and over, this, and just constantly things kept coming up. Oh, this happened, and this happened. And he was finally like, and then I asked him in the next couple days, and I was like, well, because there's a men's encounter as well. I so badly wanted him to go to men's encounter. And, of course, he didn't want to go. He had been invited. So that's the thing. He had been invited to go to the men's thing like 3 times before I went to the ladies'
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So, but so I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I can't help but share what happened, but I'm not sharing it to make you feel like you should go. Like, if you want to go, you can. I'm not ever going to ask you to go. I'm just, but and I'll try to keep it to myself as much as possible, but it just happens. Like, it just came
Yeah,
out. Like,
Well,
it
yeah.
just did, yeah.
fire
Yeah.
shut up in your bones, right?
So it was just, yeah. It was a very, it was so profound. And then, but the biggest thing, and that's my biggest, and it's almost been 6 years, my biggest thing has been, there is one thing to be set free, but there's another thing to live free.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
that is when I realized that, because because you get faced with these stuff, and especially even the rejection that we went through. I mean, we ended up we left a church then, from that area, through all of that, but just navigating through that and understanding how to live in what I believe and in who I am, like, there's a big difference there. So
Yeah.
and just because I'm struggling doesn't mean I'm not free. I'm learning how
Right.
to live free.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Amen.
That's the gospel.
That's the gospel.
Yes.
That's the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Because so
Get it?
many
Yes.
people are set free,
Yeah.
but then
Where's the living?
now what I do?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do I do this?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's where the work comes in, the discipleship from somebody else, a friend or whatever, or yourself
Yeah.
is, Wow, that's it.
So it's just been.
Amen. This is over. Thank you very much for coming today. And
Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm kidding.
Hey, we can stop right there.
No.
See, I
Wow.
know
But that-
thing, really.
You didn't know that?
I don't know
Yeah.
anything, so this is
Yeah,
all just
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I love it.
Because that right there was definitely a big turn in our journey, a big turn, because
is.
because
I'm
it
sure.
was very impactful, because it showed me what I seen in her, the change. I made the remark, I didn't ever have the same wife again.
Yeah.
What I knew her, which I didn't fully realize to what extent the depression and the suicide was. The only thing that kept her was her daughters. She couldn't bear the thought of
Yeah.
leaving her daughters and seeing what they would have to live with. But what I did see, the transformation, is like, for me it was, I want that.
Oh.
It's a,
It was a light.
mhm.
It was that little bit created another spark in me.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe there's a chance. And so that goes into another story
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
on that. But
Yeah.
Well, that'll be our next episode, maybe sometime down the road.
yeah,
We went through a lot of awful times, like in our marriage.
I would
got
have
to
said that was
point,
probably
and-
one of the hell moments of real battle.
And yeah, but it's just, it's incredible to me to think like where I am today. So this was 6 years ago. I was like 37 years old at that time. You know, I had 3 daughters, and at that point, like there was times I was standing on the brink of taking my own life, and God flashed a picture of my daughters in front of my face, and I'm like, I can't do this to them. Even if I have to live this hell the rest of my life, like I have to be there for them. I can't bear that, you know? So when I think of that, and here I am today, like I get to live life in a thriving manner. Like I'm not surviving it. I'm not putting up with this. Like it's just never been a part of my life again. Not that life hasn't been hard. I've had moments of depression. There's times when something happens, that thought goes through my mind. Well, but it's not a part of me. And that I'm actually, it just amazes me to think of that journey. And then what has happened from that point till today is like a lifetime in itself, the stuff that we experienced. And to coming out and dealing with trauma and, you know, and here I am, like I get to live life in a free way, in a free inner, being free on the inside. And
not
it's
wait.
just phenomenal.
Right.
And
And not wait.
and not wait, yeah.
You can live
Yeah.
I can
now.
live now.
You can live today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
That's
I
why they
love
call it-
life. Like I
that-
love waking up. You
That's
know?
why they call it good news.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's first of all, it's the goodness of God that leads all people
Mm-hmm.
to transformation,
Which is
repentance,
changing of the mind.
but just renewing the mind and all that. But so many people just sit and wait and like, you know, this is my cross to bear, or this is my lot. No, that's
Accepting the fate that life has dealt you is a different story than living life.
it's just amazing when you start looking at the tree of life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's what he wants us to do, and it's available.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it happened in the scripture, and you know, and there's so much more spiritual taking place than just an event in the Bible. What's going on spiritually? You know, we think, okay, this has happened, and now my turn. No, what is being revealed spiritually? And
Many-
that's
many layers.
Yeah.
Many layers. Depth.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he said too, this is so good in 1 Corinthians 15:45. It says, oh boy, I hope I can quote it right, but I know we are through Jesus. We are life-giving spirits.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just breathing alive. But we're life-giving. We actually under Adam we were consumers. We consumed.
Mm-hmm.
But through Jesus, we actually give out life to
Give
everyone
life,
around
yeah.
us. It's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
it's such a
Mhm.
big thing to me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And another what's really cool for me now, like, I've been back to encounter, like, many, many, many times. In this 6 years, I think I've missed one or two at ladies' events. And so now I get to go in, and then it was 2 years, year and a half later, I got to share my testimony on stage there, like in front of 800 ladies, you know. And so I share my story. So now people know that I've dealt with suicide and I've dealt with depression and how I got set free. So I go back, and there's all those people are there, always there, you know. So now I have servers coming, hey, this lady over here is dealing with suicide. Can you come talk with her? Can you this and this and this? So now I go back and I see the people, the ladies that I help, that I talk to and prayed through and help them get through their suicide. Now they come back and I see them serving, you know. And I'm like, this is so phenomenal, because the very thing that I
Yeah.
experienced, and people are like, wow, you've changed. Now I get to see that same transformation in others that I've been able to minister to because of my story. But I had to be willing to share my story
Yeah.
so that people know my story, and they're like, oh, can you talk to so-and-so, or can you, like, I need you to do this, or can you, like, and you get to minister to so many people.
You know what it's like to sit in that chair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Know what
Yeah.
it's like to be sitting there and
Yeah.
gripped and, like, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Those are the testimony, the times that she serves, and she's like, she comes back and says, I spoke to this person, and I seen where she was at. And you can tell, I could tell in her, like, she went back in that time and moment and sat down right there beside her and said, you don't have to say anything. I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
And it relieves the pressure.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It does, because
And then all at once, things start coming out. That's what in hearing her as she ministers, that's exciting to see.
just real quick, we need to, when people watch this, in the description, we'll list where somebody can get in touch with Encounter Ministries or how they can connect. Because it might be Encounter Ministries, it might be something else. So
Exactly.
anytime that somebody shares what vehicle might have motivated them or helped
Yeah.
them in the process, we want to put in there, because people say, well, they talked about it, but I don't know how to get in
How to
touch
do-
with them.
yeah.
So
Yes.
remind me to get the contact information, and
Perfect.
we'll put
Yeah.
it in the description. Encounter Ministries, So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's That's something.
And next, is there more?
Well,
There's a lot more.
there's a lot more. Yeah.
Yes.
Are we done
That's
with time?
that's kind of the.
56.
There's definitely, yeah, there's been a lot more. I would say from that point to now, like I said, it's learning to live in freedom, but we've experienced very major trauma and changes in our life that have, like, taken me to a complete new level of healing and depth and passion to where that's got me to where I'm today. Like, because, like, I've always felt, even as a kid, and I don't understand this all, but as a young child in my culture where I grew up in, I've always felt like there's more. Like, I'm not going to be here all my life. Like, and I couldn't explain that. Like, I don't know how, why, what is all that? And so now I'm in a journey of finding depths and growth and healing, even from childhood trauma, finding deeper healing in that,
Yeah.
and experience a lot of healing there, and dealing with the more recent traumas that we've been through since 6 years ago. So
And
there
you-
is more. Like, I don't know what all you. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
knowing you, the time we have, there's a lot more in the last 6 years
Yeah.
Yeah.
that needs to be shared. It
Yeah.
really does. And will you come back, please, and share that?
I will.
Because there is the thing that I feel it resonating within me is the fact of sharing a testimony. Every time I share parts of my life with somebody, and I see her sharing parts of her life with somebody else, it's not just about the transformation that you see in other people, but it's also what happens inside when you do share.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does
It
almost
does.
almost more than inside
You
for
minister
me.
to yourself more.
Yeah,
Than, yeah.
exactly. Because it all at once you come out and you feel life. You feel like, oh, okay. If I must say, simple terms, it was fun because you spoke into somebody else to bring hope.
Yeah. That might be all they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's exciting to me now, especially with what we have gone through the last 6 years, is it has been, I thought my childhood, my growing up was traumatic, but what I experienced the last 6 years is, like, that was nothing, it just in comparison, but it is also, it's just exciting to see how God's bringing things around, and like some of the things that I felt and that were callings and longings and stuff, like how that stuff is being fulfilled. And that's one of the things is like, he's like, and one thing that became clear to me at Encounter, like that God spoke to me that weekend is like your life is to be shared. Like you cannot keep this is not to be silent. Like your life is to be shared. So in that first encounter, I saw myself on the stage sharing to these ladies, so it's just been yeah, phenomenal. And
A book, a movie, whatever.
Hey, I've thought about a movie. I'm like, I would have talked about it often. I said, oh man, we should do it.
I'm telling you,
I would love
that's
to.
what I look for. I love biographies.
Yeah.
I love biographies. I love to watch them. I read them for our children for the 30 years we homeschooled. For history, I read biographies.
Yeah.
That's all I read. Because that is history.
Yeah. Yeah.
People's lives.
Yeah.
It's all it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I don't have to remember a date or all that stuff. I didn't think that was,
Yeah.
but people.
Yeah.
To me, that's my passion.
Yeah.
Beyond the chair.
Beyond the
That's
chair.
You got your title?
There you go.
Yeah,
I need
what-
a title. This is
Wow.
what I say. I've had a lot of people tell me you need to write a book, and I've always, ever since my brother passed away, and I was 17 at that point, I was like, I have to write about that story. Well, then we had a daughter that passed away, and I'm like, I could do the two together, and all that. So now I'm at, okay, I'm not a writer, But now I'll tell my story, and someone else can write it for me.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
write it, edit it, and anyway, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at now. So
Yeah.
I'll sometime I'll be like, okay, not someone can write the story for me.
Well,
That's perfect.
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, contributing people are
Oh, yeah.
in books all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your transparency, your vulnerability, your exposure. I mean, it's wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
I asked you once, will you come back and share at some point, everything beyond,
Yeah.
maybe the last 6 years, we can call
yeah.
that the last 6 years
Last 6
or
years, that would be
whatever,
yeah.
if you want to
Mm-hmm.
phrase
No,
it that,
yeah,
but
definitely, I'll come back. No, that's
Okay.
definitely a part of my story that needs to be shared. It does. It's probably a more recent one that I haven't talked about as much, but it is definitely a part that,
Yeah.
no, will come back.
it does. I just,
There's- mhm.
from us knowing you, both of you, it needs to be shared.
Yeah.
It does.
Mhm.
It's unfortunately a great story. Is that a
Yeah.
good way to put it?
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for stepping in. There wasn't much co-hosting to do today,
No.
just
Mhm.
listening, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, thank you. We want to thank our sponsors, Dominoes Pizza, our friends on East National Highway, Media Pro Productions in Louisville, Kentucky, Putters Bay Miniature Golf. What did I tell you to begin with? The only place you don't have to hit it straight. Right? Also, again, shout out to Classic Custom Carts over on Highway 57 and the railroad tracks. They got a great selection and just a great thing going there. They really do. So thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.